Welcome to İLKE. I am İLKE. I would like to make a short introduction to our session tonight with distinguished guests and a very important topic, Gaza. There is an ongoing genocide as we speak here now in Gaza, more than 1 year, and unfortunately, and as a research institution, we discussed among ourselves what can we do, what we can do about Gaza, and we realized that we don't know what kind of society is the Palestinian society. I mean, we knew that there's a crowded population in Gaza, in West Bank, in all Palestinian territory and society, but we did not know the exact numbers of children, women, schooling, health system, education system, economy, and so on. We don't have exact, especially in Turkey, we don't have good sources about the Palestinian society. So as a research institution, we decided to prepare a report on data, on reliable sources about Palestinian society, which is titled The Outlook of Palestinian Society, written by TODAM researcher Şöğedanur Uzuntaş, and endorsed by 3 experts from Palestine. And by that report, we aim to understand the reality of Palestinian society, how the Palestinian society is resilient throughout all the years under the occupation, under genocide, under embargo, under apartheid, and so on. So we know that Palestinian people are not only numbers, but the numbers give us a understanding of what has been until October 7 and what is going on likewise. So we are happy to make this panel to discuss the situation, the social and economic aspects and legal aspects as well of the ongoing situation. And I hope this kind of works and reports, publications, discussions will be helpful to solve not only the heartbreaking reality of genocide, but also the long-term occupation of Palestinian society, land, and territory. So welcome again, and I give the floor to Şöğedanur.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I can be a little excited, so forgive me from now on. I am Şöğedanur Uzuntaş, researcher at İLKE Foundation, and I am the author of the report, The Outlook of Palestine. Before I begin, I want to thank our foundation, İLKE, for enabling this study and every colleague who contributed to it, because we have really good people behind the scene. Before the discussion, let me present the report, The Outlook of Palestine, Palestinian Society in Data, and its process. Like Elias Akoytak said, what can we do for Palestine was our beginning point. As sosyal veri, social data, what we know well is socio-economic indicators about society and classifying them and visualizing them. And searches showed us a perfect blank to fill. It was quite difficult to data on Palestine through Turkish sources. So we started gathering data on Palestine. On our website, you can check the Palestinian data on Palestine file to reach our indicators. There's 60 indicators with several subheadings from demography to economy, health to education. all these efforts enabled us to write the report, the Outlook of Palestine, and it was quite hard for me. While comparing data, we found multiple resources like state level and local level sources. For example, the Palestinian Central Bureau of Statistics, PCBS, and other ministries of the Palestinian administration shared all of the data about Palestine, and it was quite surprised for me. There is another resources like international organizations, but we mostly rely on PCBS data because most of the international organizations' data on Palestine is broadly based on prediction. However, we also analyze the international databases such as the World Bank and the United Nations, which is well known for everyone, I think. But when we compare data on the Israeli blockade and the violence, we benefited from the local sources which are showing up in the field, and this was the important point because like publications and databases of the Colonization and Wall Resistance Commission with Senem and Yeştim, they are in the field in there. Now I want to introduce the report in more detail. The report comprises 3 parts, you can see from there. It starts with socio-economic indicators and then moves to the details of different phases of the occupation. And last one, we have expert opinions, both in Palestine and other academic environment. For the data, I hardly try to use the most current data on social issues. And 2023's data generally based on the 3rd quarter of the year, just before the October 7th. What's important to note, and what I learned from this report when I prepared it, is how a data-driven approach shows changes in Palestinian society, because, you know, we really talk about a real dynamic one, in which fertility rate is still high and the population is really young. Also, there's another factor, data-driven approach is really important, is that because of the interruptions to societal organizations and unexpected, sometimes expected conflicts, every indicator has subject to change in Palestine. The first section, socio-economic indicators for Palestine before October 7th, consists of the following subheadings. You can see from here, I think. This section addresses different social issues from Palestine's demographic structure to the economy's reflection on social life. First, I want to open up the most fundamental indicator, the population and its growth. We see how it goes. Demographic balance is really important issue between Palestine and Israel, because besides the dynamism in Palestinian society, the quantity of the population itself also really concern for Zionist regime. Yani, there is so much more on that because the law and because of the societal changes. And this dynamism and because of this quantity, they're really concerned about that. And there's some things going on around here. You can check from the rest from report. Also, this section has a special place because it shows how significantly the same data diverges between the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. For example, in there, the population growth in Gaza Strip is much more higher than in West Bank over the years. There are another interesting data for tracking the change. Yani, for example, education is one of them. Before the embargo, Gaza society had a higher education level, and after the blockade, the West Bank had the upper hand over time. However, there's one reality. All of the indicators of education, Palestinian society remain remarkably high when we compare to Arab countries and global averages. At first glance, we learned how resilient Palestinian society is from this section. with its every means, and this is my conclusion. This was my conclusion for that. Palestine has real potential to reveal. The second part is Israeli violence. The blockade in data has 4 different subheadings, and first one is the impact of the blockade and restrictions on the daily life of Palestinians. It reveals some extent of occupation and some data from the percentage of households suffering from water outages and electricity availability in households, like this. I tried also with this section to demonstrate the expansion of the occupation plan, which carrying out through settler movements. We have also another maps to understand this broadly in the report. Settler colonial violence, the second head, explore the confrontations between settlers and Palestinians. Also, there's some data about settlers' occupiers' violence to Palestinians. And the data revealed in this section diversified from the number of trees deliberately attacked by occupiers and other graphics like administrative detentions. There's also children in administrative detention, and it was really shocked because there's children like even smaller than 16 years old. And at the end, Palestinian diaspora is another important issue, and it is somehow a new area for debate because it reveals data on Palestinian refugees, and it is kind of a challenging area to understand. And at the end, October 7 and aftermath, we elaborate what happens after October 7. For the second part, I can say that this was really challenging for me to write because this was my first time seeing and truly understanding how hard encounter that level of violence in daily. In expert opinions, we have researchers in different areas. Palestinian Central Bureau of Statistics President Dr. Olabat contributed with the socio-economic situation of Palestine, and she revealed important data on many subjects from before and after October 7. Another colleague, Dr. Ghassan El-Kahlout, gave an insightful article on Palestinian workers and their struggle in Palestine and settlement areas with bond bylaws, the struggle of Palestinian workers in Israel from dispossession to exploitation. The last one came from Palestinian academic, Professor Sari Hanefi, titled From Speciocide to Genocide, the War on Gaza and Western Indifference. He discussing how genocide turns into a speciocide. You can access the rest of the report from our foundation's website. Thank you for listening. Now let's continue with our honored guest to explore further details. Please join me in welcoming Kamal Enşat to the stage, Taha Eğri and Hasan Basri Bülbül. Just before, sorry. Let me introduce our distinguished speakers. Kamal Enşat is with us. He is the former rector of Gaza Islamic University and holds a PhD in civil engineering. Prior to his presidency, he was a professor at the same university's civil engineering department. He received his PhD from the University of Leeds, a master's degree from the United States, and bachelor from Cairo University. Taha Eğri completed his BA at Boğaziçi University and obtained his master's and PhD degrees in economics at Istanbul University. He is an associate professor in economics at Kırklareli University. He is currently focusing on MENA countries' economic policies. Dr. Bilbil with us, he graduated from Istanbul University Faculty of Law and completed his master's and PhD at King's College London. He is the research affiliate of the Refugee Law Initiative at the School of Advanced Studies, University of London. Currently, he is an assistant professor of public international law at Boğaziçi University. Now, before we start, I want to inform you we will have a Q&A session at the end of the seminar, and each speaker will have 15 minutes. Now we can start. When we talk about socio-economic indicators, we mean society's particular objectives for understanding social structure. The outlook of education in Palestinian society reveals essential details. Kamaleyn Shat will be our first speaker, and his contributions will be precious to us because he witnessed all of the Israeli violence at first hand. Mr. Shat, we all know that educational infrastructure was destroyed, but October 7 was not the beginning, I think. Please tell us more about education in Palestine, especially in Gaza.
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to meet these people, and I hope that our discussion will be beneficial. And maybe I concentrate more about the descriptive things rather than analytical things, though, and give some flesh to the, to the numbers that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'll just, as I know that it's only 15 minutes, so I'll rush for so many slides that I have. In fact, I'm just considering more about occupation and implications of occupation upon education. That's mainly what I try to. So we have some points so I'll try to cover. Since it's this way. So in about the modern history of Palestine, it was from about 1517 or 1516 up to 1917. It was part of the Ottoman Caliphate or Ottoman Empire, in fact, Palestine. And then from 1917 to 1948, it was occupied by Britain. Then in 1948, where Israel was established, the occupation, the real occupation was began, but we have so many details about it. In 1948, Palestine was divided into three parts. 78 of it was what is called Israel, and then West Bank administered by Jordan, and Gaza Strip administered by Egypt. In 1967, all Palestine have been occupied, and then after Oslo Accord, 1994 to 2005, we have some type of modified occupation, and then in near 2005, Israeli troops were withdrawn from Gaza completely, but still they were in West Bank. Then we have this flood of Al-Aqsa or October 7. Anyway, I'll try to. This is colonization in the world, so we are somehow unique in this. Now, there is no colony everywhere except in Palestine. And this is Jewish immigration in Palestine from 1851 up to 1948, where they were only very few of them that till now they have so many just coming from all over the world to settle in Palestine and expel Palestinians out. And this is how the expansion of settlements, Israeli settlements, and this in West Bank, how it comes, you know, this something why October 7. In fact, before October 7, it was a horrible situation. Again, just as you see, this is the barrier wall in West Bank, which was just these people here, maybe their fields out on the other side, or the other way around. Their homes here, and then their fields at the other side. And this is about the outspots in there, and how is there, you know, in these checkpoints in West Bank, how is this is the situation there, you know, like animals, they are dealing with people. And so this pupils want to go to school where they have to cross the checkpoints. That what happened in this checkpoints. This all in West Bank. Now in Gaza, it is a bit different, but again, it is the largest open air prison, because it was occupied but remotely. So you can't move, you can't even fish, going to catch fish, etc. And then we have educational milestones. The first school established in Palestine, it was in Jerusalem, and it was in 1876. And you know, most of the beginning of this, there were you know, Christian schools. And the first modern university established in the region, it was the Syrian Protestant College in 1863 in Beirut. It began with 16 students, and which later became American University of Beirut. Higher education destinations for Palestinians by that time, they were go either to Al-Azhar University, or Al-Azhar, Jami Al-Azhar, or to Istanbul. And there was in early 1990, about 1920, it was the very few people that came to Istanbul to study. I know, at least I know two of them was studying here, one engineering, and the other was studying law. And AUB, which is the American University, and then later Cairo University, or Egyptian University as well. In 1908, Cairo University was established. In Palestine, the university began in 1971. You know, after 1967, we don't have any. Any university there. Anybody want to do go abroad? I myself went to Egypt to study my bachelor's degree, and my husband. But when occupation happened, it was very difficult for thousands of students to go abroad to study. So that's why community leaders in each city gathered together and said, okay, why not to establish universities while it is very humble, you know, resources, but they began. So one after another, Palestinian universities were established in Al-Khalil, Bethlehem, Al-Quds, and Be'er Zayt, Nablus in West Bank, and in Gaza. And then after, right now we have about 50 higher education institutions. We have 20 universities, but we have 50 higher education institutions. So this is the school before October 7th, how it was the situation. And this is in some you know, wars before October 7th. And just I will give you just case study about Islamic University of Gaza, which is one of the main universities in Palestine. In fact, not only in Gaza. This university was established in 1978, and have about 20,000 students, and they have this has happened in year 2008 was bombed, and in 2014 as well bombed, but now it was completely damaged in a way. We have about 20,000, and we have 11 colleges. We have about, in fact, 120 to 160 academic programs, and we have graduates of about from 4,000 to 5,000 students every year. We have so many graduates, etc. We have about 1,100 staff members, and we have 5 donors, etc. We have so many things and this is where we have relations with all over the world. The university, we have about more than 300 agreements with so many universities all over the world, and many of them here in Turkey as well. And we have this bilateral relations with the Middle East, Ford Foundation, British Council. It's that. We have certain special programs for students with disabilities. This is for the blind. We have very, I would say, very good apparatus for them, and this for the deaf as well. We have programs for the deaf students, and we have this for the handicapped, physically handicapped students. And by the way, this was sponsored by Turkey, which in fact İLKE was doing it. And here, this is the business incubator. We have business incubator. We have radio station working 24 hours a day. We have satellite TV channel before, but now we don't have it. And this is sports. So till the age of October 7th, we have about 1.4 million school students. This is in Gaza as well as in West Bank. In Gaza, we have about 660,000 students, and about universities and higher education institutions, we have about 250,000 of students, and we have 50 higher education institutions. Illiteracy rate, it is about 2%, 10%, which is, alhamdulillah, maybe it is one of the best in the world. Now we came to the new side. What happened? Almost all universities, maybe I should say 80 to 85% of the university buildings were bombed, or in fact demolished completely. Here, this is the Islamic University of Gaza. This is another one. This is Al-Azhar University. Yeah. Now, people right now, they don't have homes, they don't have anything, so they have either have this, very with the shelters, as you see here, or they use, and this is the destroyed schools. We have schools, maybe half of the schools were destroyed, and the other half became shelters for people who lost their homes and apartments. So right now, what is going on? We are trying to have We have online teaching, although that we don't have electricity, we don't have reliable internet, etc. But maybe about 60% of our students, they are now working and studying. We have graduation projects for our students. We have practical training for some of them. Thesis and dissertation viva, it is already done. We have tried to publish research paper as well, and we in fact admitting now new students. And just show you now some of these. This is graduation project. This is the professor in civil engineering. He tried to discuss how the project with his students, and as you see, this shelter, and this is thesis dissertation by online, and this is one of the papers which was done by our colleague Muhammad Naqdad, and he's done right now about 5-6 papers. He's doing it, although in spite of all the difficulties we have. So this is admission for new students now for this month. Mm-hmm. This month we accepting about this is the application for more than 800 students for master degree. This is only for master degree on different subjects. And we are serving community as well. We establish 10 schools for boys and girls in so this is one school, and here just I'll show you. I hope this will work. So we have maybe now 67 schools like this. We in the SMG Gaza, we run now 2 schools, and we want to run more as well, just as part of our duty towards the community. And inshallah, with this morale, we will continue our study. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation, and thank you for sharing this presentation with us, which is full of first-hand experiences as well as the critical data you have. I want to add something. I'm a little bit impressed. Thanks to your work, there is some data about Gaza. Gaza has the most, I think it's really important to note that there has been growing indicator for people with master's degree growing, and I think 2 of the 10 persons have master degree in Gaza, in spite of all the difficulties in the field. And there's another important point to note. We realized with data, when we gathering data, Gaza is the 70%. I think if I not remember wrong, 70% school facilitated for disabled students, and it's really important to realize how hard and how they copied their strategy to overcome all of these difficulties. Thank you for your presentation again. Now, Mr. Eyley, now can continue with the other important issue for every society. How was the outlook of economy in Palestine before October 7? Please give us your insight. I can.
Bilgisayarı bir alabilir miyim? Teşekkür ederim.
Açıklayabiliriz mi? Açılmamış.
Tamam, şu tarafı alabilirsiniz.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank Heda for her efforts to prepare this book, and also I would like to thank İLKE Foundation to come up with this issue. And please excuse my initiative today. So I am looking into the audience, and most of the audience can understand Turkish. Maybe one or two guests cannot, but I will be more comfortable with continuing Turkish. I think you are not familiar with the data of the Gaza and West Bank.
No problem for me. Go ahead.
The data in English you can follow, but I may mix with English and Turkish. So bugün yani Filistin meselesini konuşuyoruz. Burada konuşuyoruz. Biraz açıkçası daha rahat konuşmak için de böyle bir tercihte bulundum. Salonumuzda beraberiz. Aslında Filistin ekonomisi açısından daha önceki bazı konuşmalarında da söylemiştim. Yani özellikle Gazze merkezli konuştuğumuzda ekonomiyi konuşmak çok zor bir konu. Yıkımla bir karşı karşıyayız. Artık altyapı, üst yapı, insan kaynağı Gazze için ciddi bir sıkıntı. Profesör bize bir video izletti. Orada da gördüğümüz üzere yani bir direniş var. Orada bir direnç, resilience var ama problem aslında Gazze'nin ekonomisinden tek başına konuşmak çok zor. Sadece bir tarihsel süreci, özellikle biraz buradan İsrail'in Filistin bölgesi yani Filistin üzerine Batı Şeria ile birlikte bir suppression olarak bir baskı meselesini konuşmak lazım. Aslında bu zulüm 7 Ekim sonrasında ortaya çıkan bir zulüm değil. Sistematik olarak İsrail'in ekonomik alanda da uyguladığı bir durum söz konusu. Yani bir tarafıyla 7 Ekim sonrası bir soykırımdan bahsetmeye başladık. Daha güçlü bir bahsetmeye başladık. Çünkü artık 40 binlerin üzerinde bir kayıp. Muhtemelen şunu söylemek lazım. Bu rakam 40 binlerin çok üzerinde çünkü ölümler dahi tespit edilemez bir halde Gazze'de. Böyle bir acıyla karşı karşıyayız ve bu aslında uzun bir süredir devam eden bir ekonomik baskının, sistematik bir ekonomik baskının sonucu idi. Orada bir sıkışmışlık söz konusuydu Gazze bölgesinde ve daha sonrasında da ortaya çıkan işte İLKE operasyonuyla birlikte karşı başlatılan bu soykırım meseleyi buralara kadar getirmiş oldu. Tabii diğer tarafta Batı Şeria bölgesinde süregelen bir iktisadi hayatta, sosyal ve iktisadi hayatta devam ediyor. Fakat İsrail Gazze'den aynı şekilde Gazze'de yapamadığı fiziki yıkımı ekonomik olarak da Filistin Batı Şeria bölgesinde yürüterek aslında uzun bölümlü, uzun dönemli bir ekonomik baskılama ve zaman içerisinde Filistin'i yok etme planı olduğunu söyleyebilirim. Son dönem işte generaller planı adı altında ortaya çıkan planlarla da Gazze'nin artık zaman içerisinde, yani kısa bir süre içerisinde ortadan kaldırılması ve tamamen İsrail'e ilhakı hususunda da aslında adım adım bir ilerlemesi söz konusu gözüküyor. Şimdi Gazze ekonomisine genel itibariyle baktığımızda, Gazze ve Batı Şeria ekonomisine genel olarak baktığımızda ekonomik olarak aktiviteler tabii ki 90'lar itibariyle, 95 itibariyle bir artış kaydediyor. En son geldiğimiz bu 2023 rakamında 14 milyara varan bir ekonomik büyüklükten, iki bölge için söylediğimiz bir ekonomik büyüklükten bahsedebiliriz. Fakat ekonomik büyüklük yıllar içerisinde özellikle Filistin-İsrail çatışması, operasyonların olduğu dönemlerde büyüme küçülmeye döndüğü için aslında bir iki ileri bir geri veya iki geri bir ileri şeklinde ilerleyen bir ekonomiden bahsediyoruz. Yani İsrail geçtiğimiz bu rakamlar sadece tabii 90'lar sonraki rakamlar içeriyor ama geçtiğimiz 50 yıl boyunca Filistin bölgesinin yapısal olarak kendi ihtiyaçlarını giderecek, ayakta durabilecek bir ekonomi inşa edilmemesi için de aslında baskısını artırıyordu ve buradaki rakamlar büyüme rakamları. Buradaki büyüme rakamlarına baktığınızda dönem dönem büyüyen, daha sonra da küçülme yaşayan, yani ekonomiyi küçülten bir operasyonla, rakamlarla aslında ekonomik büyüklüğü belli bir aşamada tutan, o Filistin nüfusunun yaşayabileceği, Filistin nüfusunun hayatta kalabileceği düzeyde bir ekonomik aktiviteye müsaade eden bir yapısı söz konusu. Tabii burada şunu belirteyim, biraz fazla İsrail merkezli bir konuşma oluyor. Filistin ama içerisinde bulunan siyasi yapılar ekonomik olarak Filistin'i İsrail'in eline bağlamış durumda. Çünkü sınır kontrolleri, yani işte ticari hareketlilik için sınır kontrolleri, insan hareketliliği için, emeğin hareketliliği için sınır geçişleri, artı işte parasal bağımsızlık açısından baktığınızda işte İsrail şekliyle Ürdün dinarını kullandığı bir ekonomi. Yani aslında ekonomik olarak İsrail'e bağımlılığın yıllar içerisinde inşa edilmiş bir yapısı var. Onun için biraz bu İsrail merkezli konuşuyor gibi olursam beni affedin ama bir miktar böyle bir durum söz konusu. Çünkü burada yok ama İsrail, Filistin ticaretinin %90'ı İsrail üzerinden gerçekleşiyor. %80, %90 üzerinde İsrail üzerinden gerçekleşiyor. Bir kısmı Ürdün'den gerçekleşiyor ama büyük çoğunluğu İsrail üzerinden gerçekleşiyor. Tabii günümüzün canlı konularından bir tanesi de Türkiye açısından bu Türkiye-Filistin ticaret konusu. Burada İsrail'e, işte Filistin'e giden malların İsrail'e kayıtlanması gibi hususlar var. Bu zaman içerisinde böyleydi. Yani İsrail'e yapılan bir ticaret gerçekten Filistin'e doğru giden bir ticaretti. Ama son dönemde tabii bir takım kayıt meseleleriyle ilgili tartışma söz konusu olabilir. Kişi başına geliri aslında burada karşılaştırdığımızda siyah grafik İsrail'i gösteriyor. The black one is Israel per GDP per capita. The red one is the Palestine district. Şimdi Filistin bölgesinde kişi başına düşen gelirin 2000'lerin başından itibaren 25 yıllık seyrine baktığınızda aslında bir sıçrama varmış gibi gözükse de rakamların ne kadar küçük olduğu anlaşılabilir. Yani Filistin-İsrail bölgesi 19 bin, 20 bin dolar civarlarından 51 bin dolar civarlarına çıkarken 25 yıl içerisinde Filistin bölgesi için bu kişi başına gelir 1500 dolardan 2800 dolara çıkıyor. Burada şunu söylemek lazım. Muhtemelen bu istatistik realleştirilmiş bir istatistik değil. Real istatistik. 2015 dolar mı?
2015 based.
2015 based. Yani oradaki sonraki durumu düşünürsek, yani Amerikan doları üzerindeki enflasyonu da düşünürsek aslında 1500'den 2800'e çıkması sınırlı bir gelişme. Fakat Filistin'in yanında İsrail bölgesinin yaptığı sıçrama ve makasın açılması aynı coğrafya içerisinde, yani Kudüs'le yan yana Batı Şeria bölgesinde işte baktığınızda ekonomik gelişmenin ne kadar farklılaştığını da görebiliyoruz. Bir tarafta son 20 yılda 50 bin dolar seviyesine çıkan bir İsrail nüfusu varken Filistin bölgesinde hala 2800 dolar civarlarında kalan bir rakamdan bahsediyoruz ki bu rakam küresel işte istatistiklerle karşılaştırıldığında da çok düşük kalıyor. İşte orta büyüklükte bir Türkiye, işte orta gelir. Tabii 17. ülkeyiz dünyada ama 10 bin dolar civarlarındayız kişi başına gelirdi. Nüfus açısından baktığımızda da yani çok büyük bir nüfus yok Filistin. Buna rağmen küçük bir ekonomiyle karşı karşıyayız. İşsizlik rakamları aynı şekilde kırmızı istatistik Gaza bölgesi. Oradan okunuyor sanırım. Resmi tamam. Yeşil grafik Batı Şeria bölgesi. İşsizlik rakamları da özellikle biraz sonra da değineceğim bunu ama raporda da detaylı bir şekilde employment meselesi ele alınmış vaziyette. Çok kritik bir yerde. Çünkü istihdam konusunda Batı Şeria ve Gazze bölgesinde sınırlı imkanlar var ve büyük rakamlar, büyük oranda istihdam için İsrail bölgesine geçiş gerekiyor. Bu İsrail bölgesine geçiş meselesi de işle alakalı, istihdamla alakalı olarak İsrail'in ciddi bir aracına dönüşmüş vaziyette. Yani sınır kontrolleri, emeğin hareketliliği için özel izinlerin verilmesi İsrail'in Filistin karşısında uyguladığı en önemli baskı araçlarından bir tanesi. Özellikle 7 Ekim sonrası bu geçişleri durdurarak Batı Şeria'da üzerinde de ciddi bir ekonomik baskı oluşturmuş durumda. İşsizlik rakamlarının işte operasyonların arttığı dönemlerde yükseldiği bir dönem, işte yine dalgalı baktığımızda tablodan görebiliyoruz. Özellikle Batı Gazze bölgesinde artan işsizlik rakamları, yani 2015 sonrası artan bir şekilde %45'lere varan işsizlik bugünkü şartlar altında zaten geldiği nokta ayrı bir yerde. Biraz El-Aksa sonrası durumdan bakacak olursak kısaca, özellikle Gazze bölgesinin ekonomisinin daha 2024'ün birinci çeyreğinde %81 noktasında eridiğini görüyoruz. Aynı şekilde tarımsal alanların %96'ya varan oranında yok edilmesi. Ki bu da 2024'ün başları. Yani bugün bu istatistiklere baktığınızda muhtemelen artık Gazze bölgesi için bir ekonomik alandan bahsetmek zor. Onun için konuşmamın başında söyledim ama resmi biraz göstermek açısından. Fakat Batı Şeria'da da aynı şekilde devam eden bir gerileme söz konusu ve 2023'ün son çeyreğinde milli gelir istatistikleri Batı Şeria için %19 oranında daraldı. Bu artan bir şekilde devam ediyor. Gazze ekonomisi 2015 dolarlarına göre baktığımızda 2019 rakamlarının neredeyse yani ekonomi durma noktasına gelmiş durumda. Yaklaşık 700 milyon dolarlık bir civardan artık 100 milyon doların altına inen bir ekonomik aktiviteden bahsediyoruz. Bu rakamlar biraz küçük rakamlar oldu sanırım ama okunabiliyor. Yani burada 2023'ün 4. çeyreği ile 2003'ün 4. çeyreği arasında yani geçen yılın istatistiksel değişimlerine dair kısa bir tablo söz konusu. Batı Şeria için özellikle işte Batı Şeria bölgesi için bunları ele almak. İşte GDP milli gelir açısından %19'luk bir küçülme. Kişi başına gelirde de aynı şekilde. Mesela net faktör girişleri söz konusu. Yani dış yardımların veya yatırımların girişine baktığımızda sadece 2023'te Batı Şeria için %93'lük bir azalma söz konusuyken Gazze'de çıkış 2023'te bir çıkış söz konusu. Aynı şekilde işte istihdamda %85'lik bir azalma var Batı Şeria'da. Gazze'de zaten rakamlar aynı şekilde %100 oranında bir anda bir istihdamın durması gibi bir söz konusu durum var. Enflasyon hususunda da artık %100'ü geçen enflasyonla karşı karşıyayız. Biraz daha sektörel aktivitelerle ilgili 2023'ün birinci çeyreği ile 2024'ün birinci çeyreği arasında yani bir yıllık süreç içerisinde sektörel değişimlere baktığımızda Gazze bölgesi zaten %90'ın üzerinde bir azalma. Biraz önce söylediğim gibi yani bugün Gazze bölgesi bir toplu yıkım olduğu için oraları sadece bugün burada anarak aslında mesele yani oradaki Filistin direnişine bir destek olması hasebiyle burada andığımızı düşünüyorum. Ama Batı Şeria'daki gerçeklik açısından özellikle işte tarımın %11, madencilik, üretim sektörünün %29, işte inşaat sektörünün %42, hizmetler sektörünün %24 gibi toplamda ise %25'lik bir azalma söz konusu sadece 2024'ün başında. Azalan bu sektörel durum 2024'ün diğer çeyreklerinde de yani önümüzdeki yıl bu ortaya çıkacaktır. İkinci, üçüncü çeyrek sonuçları. Bu sonuçlara baktığımızda muhtemelen daha acı bir tabloyla da karşılaşacağımızı düşünüyorum. Şimdi burada bir giriş çıkış rakamları söz konusu. Enes kapısı üzerinden biraz işte o İsrail'in baskı politikası açısından nüfus hareketlerini kontrolüyle alakalı. Enes kapısı üzerinden Filistin'den İsrail'e geçiş rakamlarının özellikle 2007 ablukası ile birlikte İsrail'in bir ciddi oranda daralttığı ve bu rakamları işte yıllık rakamları 100 binin altına düşürdüğü bir durum söz konusu. 2022-2023 yıllar içerisinde başlayan bir geçiş söz konusu. Girişler ve çıkışlar içerisinde bu özellikle sınırlı emek hareketliliği ile ilgili bir rakam. Zaten 2024-2023 Ekim sonrasında 2024 ile alakalı sonrasında bu girişler tamamen durdurulmuş vaziyette. Bu 7 Ekim öncesi rakamları gösteriyor. Bir miktar hareketlilik söz konusu 2023'te ama daha sonrasında bunlar durdurulmuş vaziyette. Yani geçtiğimiz yaklaşık 13 sene içerisinde 2008'den bu yana giriş çıkışlar Enez üzerinden giriş çıkışların ciddi manada daraltıldığı, yani oradaki başlıkta olduğu gibi yani Filistin'in nefes borusuna bir İsrail postalı şeklinde bir başlıkla yani inanılmaz bir boğucu, nüfusu boğmaya çalışan, ekonomiyi boğmaya çalışan bir yapı. Bu bir raporda karşıma çıkmıştı hazırlarken. İlginç bir rapordu. Bu istatistik sanırım İLKE'nin raporunda söz konusu değil ama benim daha önce hazırladığım başka bir raporla alakalı. Bu sistematik İsrail'in ilişkileriyle alakalı olarak Gazze bölgesi ablukası içerisinde Gazze'nin tabii ki en önemli iktisadi kaynağının başında tarım geliyor. Bu sağ taraf haritanın size göre sol taraf oluyor sanırım. Bana göre bu sol taraf. İsrail bölgesi, bu taraf Gazze bölgesi. Şimdi buradaki kırmızılar tarımsal alanların yok edildiği bölgeleri gösteriyor. Havadan ilaçlama yöntemiyle İsrail'in kendi tarafında bir havadan özel ilaçlarla havadan tarımsal ilaçlama yapma adı altında bir ilaç yaydığını ve bu ilaçların rüzgar yoluyla Gazze bölgesine geçerek buradaki sınır bölgesindeki, abluka bölgesinin sınırlarındaki tarımsal alanların üretim yapısını bozduğunu veya yok ettiğini raporlamış bir uluslararası raporda. Özellikle 5 ila 15 gün sonra o rüzgarla gelen ilaçların, tarımsal ilaçların buradaki üretimi öldürdüğüne dair raporlar, istatistikler söz konusu. Bunun işte haritalanma göstermesinde o küçük kırmızı bölgeler artık tarımsal alanların yapılamadığı yerleri gösteriyor. Bu belli bir döneme ait yapılmış bir harita. Uzun yıllar içerisinde bunların sürekli bir düzenli yapıldığını düşünürseniz aslında bu işte İsrail'in uluslararası kamuoyundan da yıllar içerisinde kaçırarak bir tür işte ekonomik savaşı olarak da örnek gösterilebilir. Ya da deniz alanlarıyla alakalı kullanım, işte Oslo Sözleşmesi ile aslında Gazze bölgesi üzerinden deniz alanlarına erişim 20 deniz mili erişim izni anlaşması yapılmışken Oslo'dan itibaren hiçbir zaman bu bölgenin aslında kullanılamadığını görüyoruz. Çeşitli abluka dönemlerinde belirli dönemlerde işte çeşitli anlaşmalarla bir 15 kısmı var. 12 Bertini anlaşmasıyla birlikte bir 12 konusu var. Ama genelde 6 deniz mili çerçevesine ya da işte 2019'dan itibaren yapılan o Gazze kuşatması ile birlikte aslında balıkçıların her gün değil ama İsrail'in belirli kontrollü dönemlerinde deniz alanlarına erişimi, onun haricinde abluka ile birlikte balıkçılar dahil sınırlı erişim söz konusu olduğunu görüyoruz. Genel olarak burada toparlayacak olursam Gazze ve Batı Şeria bölgesinin bir işgal altındaki Filistin topraklarıyla baktığınızda İsrail'in kendi iç yapısının tamamen dışında tuttuğu belirli sınırlı imkanlarla işte inşaat hizmetler sektörü üzerinden ya da Filistinlilerin, özellikle Batı Şeria'dakilerin İsrail bölgesinde çalışmasına müsaade ederek sınırlı bir ekonomik yapı oluşturduğundan bahsedebiliriz. Devam eden bu iktisadi baskı ve iktisadi yok etme politikası zaman içerisinde zaten Gazze ile birlikte fiziksel şiddete ve fiziksel soykırıma da dönüşmüş vaziyette. Önümüzdeki dönemlerde görünen o ki Gazze bölgesi için iktisadi olarak çok daha sınırlı bir harekete müsaade edileceği ya da bilemiyorum ama belki tartışma konusu olabilir. Gazze bölgesini tamamen iktisadi olarak kendi bağımsız bir ekonomik piyasası oluşturmasına müsaade etmeme gibi bir durumda olabilir. Yani sadece oraların bir kamplara dönüştürülüp bir dış yardımlarla kampların yönetildiği, onun haricinde bir iktisadi faaliyetin olmadığı bir yer Gazze için gibi gözüküyor. Ama işte Batı Şeria bölgesinde de ekonomik kontrolün benzer şekilde İsrail üzerinden devam edeceği ve İsrail ekonomisine bağlı İsrail'in keyfi uygulamaları üzerinden yürütülecek bir ekonomik yapıdan söz edebiliriz. Ben teşekkür ediyorum tekrardan.
Teşekkür ederiz hocam. Thanks for this presentation. Yani raporda da tartışmıştık. We all discussed that in a nutshell what he talked about, yani there is some accumulation by dispossession. Bu minvalde tartıştım ben de. Bir de orada wage disparity yaratması gerçekten yani yerleşim alanlarında ve İsrail'de çalışanlara yönelik hem Batı Şeria'daki lokal marketin gerçekten kısıtlıyor. Oradaki iş sahiplerini de işçileştiriyor. Bütün bunları raporda tartışmıştık. Oradan da ulaşabilirsiniz.
Yani emeğin elde ettiği gelir İsrail topraklarından aslında Batı Şeria'daki piyasa için bir girdiye dönüşüyor. Siz işçi kontrolleri üzerinden bu geliri kesintiye uğrattığınızda Batı Şeria ekonomisinde bir ikinci aşamada kesintiye uğratmış oluyorsunuz. Yani döngüyü bozmuş oluyorsunuz. Evet. Bu da sizin işte ipleri elinizde tutmanızı sağlıyor. Bu da bir tür soykırım.
Social control. We also note that it's like genocide, it's the economic side for West Bank and Gaza generally. Now, Mr. Bulbul, all of these socioeconomic indicators are inherently related to what's going on behind the scenes. And these leads us to stage where our definition of these, how can I say, Israeli regime, maybe apartheid regime. Can you tell us more about the dimension of law?
All right. So I'm not going to have a PowerPoint presentation. So I will not have some data or statistics as well. Or I'm not going to list Israeli crimes. Had we listed the Israeli crimes, we would have needed days and weeks or months. So 15 minutes is not going to be enough for this. Rather than this, I'll be talking about overall framework of international law and the relevance of international law vis-a-vis the Palestinian suffering right now. So international law has become a topic of an unprecedented focus after the 7th of October. So the Palestine issue has captured the world's attention like never before. So Palestinian people in Gaza have been enduring all kinds of crimes and barbarism by Israel, and then witnessing all of these events in the real life in the 21st century, and feeling powerless to stop what's going on, has inflicted some profound wounds in every person who's got any sense of conscience and any sense of justice. So more people are now asking, where is the law? Where is justice? Where is international law? How about human rights law? So those raising these questions are right. They are on the right side of history. They are engaging with the sense of inquiry in relation to justice. So they are in pursuit of justice indeed. We have been made to believe that for some time that international law is a force for good, is something good, and we've been made to believe that international law is inherently a good instrument for achieving a more and more just and equitable world. We've been told that with the emergence and expansion of international law, we will see less wars, we will see less destruction, we will see less sufferings. So basically, the promise of international law was the more international law we have, the less barbarism we will get at the end of the day. So this has been the mainstream propaganda of international law, even though it was not really clear how international law really helped eliminate the barbarism. So what we have been witnessing in Gaza is one of the most brutal forms of barbarism indeed. So it is now even more clear that the idea of international law as opposed to barbarism and violence is a kind of illusion. So international law and violence have always been together. So they always went hand in hand. So violence has always been embedded in international law. So history of international law indeed demonstrates that colonial violence has well been justified through international law. It's been justified by international law. Genocide, massacres, atrocities, all forms of atrocities were justified by international law, mainly based on a categorization which relies on a distinction between civilized and uncivilized. And uncivilized deserve all kinds of violence. So international law has really designated the colonized people as the barbarous, barbarous. So indeed, the victims has become the barbarous ones instead of those perpetrating those kind of atrocities. So one may argue that international law has transformed. particularly after the decolonization movements, so in 20th century. This might have been the case to a little extent, not a great extent, in the world. It has never been the case for Palestine, as we know. So while the rest of the world have witnessed the process of decolonization, in the meantime, Palestine suffered from colonization, and Israel colonized Palestine with the support of its Western allies. So it started from the beginning. We know, for example, the Zionist motto of the land without people for the people without land. The land without people, which is Palestine, for the people without land, which are Jewish people. So this is a reflection of a concept, a colonial concept, which was heavily used in international law, which is called terra nullius, which means empty lands, but more precisely, lands without sovereign. So then if there is no sovereign over a land, then it could be confiscated. Whoever gets to the territory first will get it. So this was a colonial project of Western powers in order to justify their colonization of the world. In 20th century, Israel relied on this concept to colonize Palestine. So sovereignty, at the end of the day, was at that time a colonial, was a European concept, which enabled their colonization. Sovereignty can only be an attribute of those Western powers because the others are primitive people. They lack intellectual capacity to form a political structure. They should be governed. They are primitive people. They do not have the intellectual capacity to govern themselves. Until they are developed, they should be governed. This is the idea of colonization, isn't it? So then colonized people cannot have a say in relation to their political structure. They cannot have their states, so they should be governed. This was exactly applied to Palestine by Israel in 20th century, when all of those talks indeed gone. So today we talk about sovereign equal states in international law, but Israel acts as if we are still in 19th century. So they claim that Palestinians are primitive people. They are barbarous. They are inherently violent. They are a threat to civilization. So they shouldn't be allowed to have a state. So they shouldn't have sovereignty. So similar interplay is here in relation to a colonial mindset. So with the support of their Western allies, Western powerful states, Palestinians are denied their right to self-determination, which is indeed something which is a promise of international law to the people. So if these are the case, if international law is inherently embedded with colonial violence, so what is the relevance of international law? So is it still relevant in the face of what is happening in Gaza right now, as we speak? So can international law deliver justice to Palestinian people? Or can we simply rely on international law and can we simply trust international law that it will resolve this issue? Or there is a classical question which is, can the master's tool be used by oppressed people for liberation? So can we rely on their tools to liberate ourselves? So indeed, yeah, it is very simple to criticize international law. This is everyday activity of many people, including us academics. We always engage with the criticism of international law. We criticize international law for its inadequacy. We criticize international law for double standards, which is indeed, which became indeed crystal clear when we make a comparison between Ukrainian situation and Palestinian situation. We even criticize international law and international institutions for their complicity in enabling genocides against the people of the global south. But the problem is, we have come to a point where criticizing or advocating international law doesn't make any difference. So criticizing international law and advocating international law doesn't really produce concrete results for us. So those atrocities are committed in Gaza or other parts of the world, regardless of whether we forcefully expose and criticize those double standards. So we forcefully say that we can prove the double standards in international law, but who cares? So what is the meaning of saying that you are hypocrites to Western governments? So don't they know already? Or advocating for international law or advocating for justice before international mechanisms, international courts also do not produce tangible results. We know South Africa to Israel before International Court of Justice. International Court of Justice delivered it is what is the term? Provisional measures. It said Israel to stop to some extent, but we have not really seen any consequences, any results of this decision. Then we come to another question. Why do we talk too much about international law? What's the meaning of it? So I study international law, and these are the questions that I constantly engage. So it seems to me that we can make a distinction between how academics and scholars should engage with international law and how civil society and advocacy groups can engage with international law. So as academics, we can deeply criticize international law. We can also build, we can try to build a better international law. We can try to engage with various epistemologies apart from the Eurocentric knowledge production. We can try to include the knowledge produced by different parts of the world, which includes Islamic law as well. So this would be an important job for academics. But at the same time, it seems to me that demonizing international law by civil society wouldn't work. So civil society should be focusing on advocating for tangible results. So they could trigger what we already have. They could trigger the existing norms, even though they are inadequate. So while we are engaging with epistemological questions on the academic side, civil society could pursue justice in the mechanisms that we have. So we can make a distinction between these two of them. So I would suggest that let's leave the demonization of international law to us, to academics, and engage in civil society, engage with international law further. So this might be an idea to go ahead. But again, I mean, the thing is, we are not sure whether we will be successful in our pursuit of justice. So why do we again talk too much about international law? It seems to me that Palestinians and the Muslim world in general are weak. So we are weaker economically, we are weaker militarily, we are weak politically, we are weak in the media, so we are weak in many other fronts. And now we've got international law, and we've got some international reports saying that Palestinians are right. And we've got those institutions or international law which would empower some Palestinian arguments. So obviously, we will rely on what we have in the case. But we must also be careful in terminology, in our conceptions. For example, we talk about occupation. Occupation is a term which has not been prohibited categorically by international law. Occupation can be legal in certain cases. International law doesn't categorically prohibit occupation. Also, when you look at international law and when you look at the approaches of international institutions, including the courts, occupied Palestinian territories are only West Bank, Gaza, and East Jerusalem. But we know that this occupation started in 1967, but the problem dates back to even 19th century, in the beginning of the 20th century. So the too much reliance on occupation will not resolve the problems. Or when you say when the occupation ends, the Palestinian issue will be resolved. This doesn't reflect the reality. We've got Palestinian refugees problem. How about the right to return? Occupation doesn't cover the cover all the claims of the Palestinian people. When we say if genocide ends, the problem will be resolved. That's not going to happen. When we say if the apartheid regime is ended, the problem will be resolved. No. So we've got all those problems, and international law is, again, not capable of capturing the Palestinian reality, Palestinian suffering. And then now we have some recent voices from academics arguing that Nakba should be recognized as a legal concept in international law. And you will remember there was a young scholar in the United States who was called Rabia Ekberia. So his article was initially accepted by Harvard Law Journal, and then it was rejected by the journal and it was not published. And then it was published by another US law school journal. So he I think, provides a good framework for Nakba as a legal concept. So he says Nakba is not only related to 1948 events, many people say this, it is an ongoing process, and it is indeed a structure imposed by Israelis. And it is composed of displacement. It started with displacement, and the structure is apartheid. It is carried out through ethnic cleansing and genocide, and also the purpose of this to deny self-determination to Palestinian people. This international law talks itself will not liberate Palestine. I believe that the real change should come from outside, because we know we all have all those international law documents, all those international law courts. They are not going to be self-enforcing themselves. The change needs to come outside forces, I think, which includes many aspects of the life. But international law will only accompany to the developments that needs to be carried out. So I think I can finish in this point, and I can be open to the questions. Mm-hmm. Thank you for giving us the floor.
thank you for your presentation. I'm really impressed with this too. It's really important to think about these concepts, and your insights have sparked thought-provoking ideas. And maybe I can contribute to one data about these issues. When we talk about the concept of apartheid, we have to talk about indifference towards citizens. And there's some data about that. Amnesty, the international organization, collected some data, and we have also classified them in our report too. There's some investigations towards settlers and their actions, their violent actions toward Palestinians. And there are some investigations, but 80% of them closed because of the lack of evidence. But we really have the evidence, but there is no need to take action for them. And it's obviously showed us how the apartheid regime is going on there, and it is somehow contribute to your ideas on where's the law and how applicable is.
If I can continue.
Of course.
International Court of Justice delivered an advisory opinion in July 2024, and it really listed the discriminatory activities of Israel in West Bank and Gaza as well. So it said the activities of Israel amounted to racial segregation and apartheid, even though it didn't clearly say that what's happening is apartheid, but it said it is a violation of Article 3 of the Convention against the elimination of racial discrimination. Article 3 is saying that racial segregation and apartheid is a violation of international law. The court didn't explicitly say that it is apartheid, but if you look at the structure of the decision, it is defining apartheid through the policies of Israel. Yeah, another point with the ICJ decision, advisory opinion, is that it recognized that Israeli occupation is illegal. And we all knew that, but it recognized, it confirmed that the occupation is illegal, and it indeed amounted to annexation. Annexation means declaring a foreign land as if it's your official land. So it's acquiring territory through use of force, illegal acquisition of territory. So the court said that Israeli occupation, 57 years of occupation, amounted to illegal annexation. Again, the court doesn't have any enforcement mechanisms, but what needs to be done is to use the frameworks provided by the court in other international judicial mechanisms and domestic mechanisms as well. So the work ahead of us is how to make those points in the advisory opinion, how to turn them into some concrete goals in different parts of the world.
Thank you for your contribution. Now we can take your question for our speakers. If anyone takes the place. Is there?
So, thank you very much. And thank you for each of our contributors and presenters, especially on legal issues, legal ambiguities of international law and so on. But my question goes for Professor Kemal Enşat. Thank you for being with us tonight. I learned a lot. I took very inspirational issues about the education. I mean, let me say this: if there's one society that deserves to be called resilient in the whole world, it is, I think, Palestinian society. Even in that destructive situation, in total destruction conditions, Palestinians are resilient. They have a very strong will to live, will to learn, will to move on, will to survive. I mean, not only physically, but also from educational terms, in terms of knowledge and academic career as well. I mean, if any European society, maybe I exaggerate a little bit, but if any European society would be in same situation, there would be a total chaos. There would be a state of nature. There would be robberies, gangs, chaotic situation with no order. But we see that there is still an order, security, justice, joy, hope, and they are full of life among the rebels, among the restricted sites. How do you consider this? I mean, what is the origin of this will to live among Palestinian people? Where does it come from? I mean, does it come from being Muslim, being Islam, or there is it is thanks to the long struggle against a colonizer, or let's say occupier? Where does it come from? How do you consider from a scholar view, or from as a yes? That's my question.
Yeah, I think now maybe the main source of this energy that we have, for sure, it is from Islam. This is the main source of Islam, Iman, faith. Rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or this now it is the main thing, main factor, or the core of factor. But besides that, of course, we have the history of Palestinian struggle since I mean, at the time of British mandate, etc. We have the struggle of other nations in Algeria and Vietnam and everywhere. But for sure, I think is main thing is this is the internal belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He is His Majesty subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the running everything, and just give us patience, give us resilience, everything. I think this is the main thing, and that is why we see that memorizing the Quran, how far it is spread in Palestine. Even in I would claim that in Islamic University of Gaza has its share in this. We have compulsory Islamic courses for all students, whether they are studying medicine, engineering, etc. They have to, every student should recite, memorize, and make tafsir for 5 chapters of Quran, as well as learn about hadith, about fiqh, about etc. So I think this is one main thing. Of course, then in mosques, in masajid, or every masjid, in fact, it is complete community for children, for youngsters, for ladies, etc. Also, it is, you have this environment that is give this energy to the society. I think this is the main thing.
And by the way, I saw another data from PCBS, and it holds cultural
activity survey, and there is some data about Palestinian students. I think 6 to 10, yani 10 of 6 students out of 10. Thank you. Out of 10 will memorizing Quran, and this seems like activities really spread activity among them, and it's they give importance to it, and all of the students, I think, from 10 years old to 20 years old, and it's really surprising thing for me to write. We also have these details in our report, by the way. Thank you for your contribution again. Is there any question? Please.
My name is Menya Idis Rajuddin, student at Istanbul University doing a PhD in political science. Yeah, I'm from Uganda. My question goes to brother Assistant Professor Hassan Basri. According to you, you have talked a lot about international law. As I look backward, Palestine has been recognized as a Soviet country in June 2024. According to you, why did it not recognize the previously? Why?
Palestine.
Yes, yes, yes.
Palestine has been recognized.
What made it to take a longer time without being recognized?
Palestine,
thank you very much.
Have been recognized by, I think the latest number was like 140 states, Palestinian Authority as a state. I mean, this recognition is inherently political. It's up to states to recognize another state as a legal entity or not. They do not have an obligation to recognize an entity as a state, even though that state satisfies all the criteria for statehood. They've got no obligation. So it is a political decision at the end of the day. When it comes to Palestinian membership to the United Nations as a state, you know, there is the problem that you all know. United States. If you look at the membership process in the United Nations, first of all, the United Nations Security Council should make a decision. And then that decision will go to the General Assembly of the United Nations, and then the General Assembly will have a vote. If the 2/3 of the majority of the General Assembly responds positively, then the entity, that state, will be accepted to the United Nations. But this process never starts because of the nature of the Security Council. You know, the United States always veto when it comes to something which is favorable for Palestinians, most of the time. And when it comes to the Palestinian statehood, even though they politically advocate for two-state solution, they have never allowed Palestine to be a member state in the United Nations. This is for political reasons, you know. And since the United States is what enabling Israel in what they are doing, in what they've been doing in Palestine for so long. So it doesn't mean that Palestine is not a state. A state doesn't have to be a member of United Nations. It is an international organization. Palestine is a state recognized by 140 states. Membership is not a criteria. Membership with the UN is not a criteria for statehood. Recently, General Assembly of the United Nations elevated the status of Palestinian state to a special position. It gave the Palestinian state further rights within the structure of the United Nations. The current status is an observer state, but Palestine has kind of become special in its position in the General Assembly when you compare it with other observer states. So unless Security Council changes its behavior, it is very difficult for Palestine to be a member of the United Nations. Political.
Is there any question?
Thank you for your presentations. My question is to Mr. Saad. I'm Bushra Islam. I'm surprised to hear you saying that the illiteracy rate in Palestine is so low, just like 2%. When I checked the Turkey in website, I saw that it's just like 4%. It means that the Palestine is much more low literacy rate than the Turkey. I just wonder how Palestinians achieved this despite the challenging economic and political situation, you know.
Yeah. In fact, in the beginning, it was not that high. I mean, I will say 7 to 8 years back, we were like other countries in the region, like Egypt, or Saudi Arabia, etc. But I think after Nakba, it became for the people of Palestine that that education is the only way, or the main way, I mean, to survive as well as to withstand this Zionist project. So gradually, this happened that people, and you know, if you look at it, is even in Gaza better than in West Bank, because in Gaza we have very little resources. So there is no other way but for people to study, to learn, to promote, for promotion, for everything. So I think this is one thing. But besides, again, the Islamic way of that, you know, that is education is very appreciated in Islam. اقرأ and قل هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون. So this I mean, culturally and as well as for, you know, to for personal purposes, I mean, as well as to withstand the aggression of Israelis. So all this come to people go to be more educated. Yeah.
Thank you for your question and thank you for your contribution again. Now we can finish here. Thank you for our guest speakers and thank you for joining us today.
Can I say one last sentence?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
So I would like to recommend one poem, maybe video, to our audience from Rafif Ziyadeh. You can just look from the YouTube or any website. We teach life, sir. You know, she said today there's some first sentence that today my body was a TV massacre that had to fit into sound bites and word limits. We are talking about the Palestinian issue today together here, and small words and statistics, and maybe some word limits, as you mentioned a couple of days back. Today they are very resilient to this massacre since a couple of years, even more than decades. So I think this is where it fits into our issue. So we are talking about small bites and word limits, but they are teaching life to us.
Yeah.
Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you.
Now, thank you for joining us today. Good evening to everyone.